Hello, Stephanie. How are you?
Nina, I'm so good. I've missed you.
I know. It's been so long. We spent so much time apart.
I know, y'all. I don't know where you live or what you're going through, if y'all have experienced the sickness of 2024, but whoa, it hit my house hard.
Yeah. And poor little Henry so hard.
I know. Here I am complaining, but I didn't actually get sick, but my little boy did. And whoa, back to back, double whammy. So anyway, we have not got to record in a few weeks. So I've missed you.
I know. Yeah. We haven't had a whole lot of FaceTime lately. So it's excited to be back. Or I'm excited to be back in the podcast so we can be talking.
And I'm excited about today's topic because it is directly pertains to a client that we were working with and her success, but then also gives advice to someone else who would like to create the same success.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So today we are going to talk about starting your own Facebook group and the fire that can be for your business.
Right. Yeah. So Facebook groups are, they're super popular. There's 1 million Facebook groups, more than that on Facebook, but you may be thinking like, is that really for me? I don't know. And the client that we worked with, she wasn't sure if she wanted to do it either. She was like, her apprehension was that she was nervous about just having that big of an audience all at once. She was more on like the one-on-one. But she started it and now it is
wildly successful.
It's wildly successful. And she's super thankful that she did it. She loves doing it now and she was super nervous to start. So,
and I think the other thing is she charged to get into her Facebook group. So that is like, crazy. She's making money from her Facebook group.
Right.
I mean, like crazy good money, I believe, for the size group she has. And it was a low ticket item.
Right.
Yeah. She didn't charge much to get in, like $14.
Yeah, absolutely. But she had so many people who joined and all those people are really engaging in it. And it's just been this created a kind of a community for her and her business. So, and she didn't even want to start it at first. So
no, she's an Instagram girly through and through. She loves her IG. So
we'll kind of walk you guys through what our process with her was like. And maybe you'll decide it's for you. Maybe you won't, but you'll see.
So we thought we would just give you the steps that we believe has made her group successful. And then at the end, we'll share a little bit more about her story. So if you're like, well, exactly like step by step, how did she do it? We're going to share some of her story with you. So the first thing I would believe, like whenever you go to create a Facebook group, is you do need a specific purpose. And you're probably like, okay, well, yeah, that's obvious, but I'm talking like pretty granular in your purpose of creating the group. For example, if you were wanting to be seen as a leader in your community, that Facebook group is going to look very different than a real estate agent who is wanting to create a group to get more referrals. The type of content and conversations you would have is just so different.
Yeah, very different. So definitely have, when you create the group, definitely have an intention behind it. Don't just have a goal to just kind of get a bunch of followers and have a group that's very popular. Have something, maybe even like think of it as like something you're providing to the group. Like what are you providing for the people that are joining, and go in with that intention before you start.
Before you get the comments from the others and helps for the others in your engagement, you need to decide specifically what you want. Maybe you want to be seen as the problem solver. So that group would look very different. And so we're going to give you some examples of groups you could actually start, like some titles or some names of groups. But the first thing we're going to encourage you to do is be specific on the intention. Our client that started her own Facebook group, her intention was to build a much stronger community and share information that would then potentially lead these people to a higher ticket item. So she is kind of almost taking them through a sales funnel, so to speak. And so her intention was very specific, and I think that's why we were able to nail it. The next thing I would suggest when you go to create your Facebook group is to give the name a searchable, keyword-rich title.
Right. And this, like, as much as it's like super cute and fun and unique to have like some catchy, fun name, you are, like I said, there's so many Facebook groups. It's a very big website. So you want to be able to be found when people search for you. So if you were one of 10 groups, maybe then you want to have the catchiest name out of the 10. But when you're one out of 10, 20 million groups, I don't know how many groups, Facebook groups there are, you want to be something that when people search a certain topic, your name comes up first, or people know exactly what they're getting out of your group. It should be very clear.
I did not want our podcast name, if I'm just being transparent, I did not want it to be Real Estate Marketing Insights. I wanted it to be Social Southern Creative. That's the name of our company. But no one is searching that besides the Instagram followers we have. I needed it to be something that we could it would easily be searchable. So if you're in real estate, you're going to be searching marketing tactics and you search those keywords, bam, your girls are here. Bada bing, bada bang with this podcast name.
Yeah.
And
also too with that Social Southern Creative, like you might have a guess at what we do, but it's not explicitly said what we do. So when I think something that says really like this is what the topic is.
I think Social Southern Creative almost implies that we're an event planning company sometimes.
Yeah.
But Real Estate Marketing Insights, it's clear as day. Also, let me tell you another thing that's very intentional about the name of our podcast, and this applies to a Facebook group, is the word insights. So we were nervous that what if we expanded? What if our team grew and we didn't just do real estate clients? And that is what we're already seeing for our business in 2024. So we had the word insights on there, and we could remove real estate. So we could leave our logo the same. We could have marketing insights. And so we also created a title that would transform as we grew. So that was ultra intentional.
Yeah, that's some forward thinking there for you.
Yeah. That was like 2 years down the road when we decided on this name. So my encouragement for you is to think of a keyword rich name. So something people would search, and then try to think ahead if you can, because Facebook group names change all the time. Podcast names change all the time, but it needs to be something somewhat relatable,
Yeah.
All right. The next thing I believe has been the key to our client success is she actually nurtured the leads for her Facebook group on another platform. She started her group advertising somewhere else besides Facebook. And that's what made her leads, not just warm leads, but I would say burning hot leads. Piping hot, girl.
Piping hot, yeah. She started out on Instagram and then kind of funneled them over to the Facebook group from there. So she also do that because they were able to switch platforms and travel over to Facebook with her. She knew that those were going to be really hot leads because they were able to do that extra step.
Correct. So I would say our Instagram following is a mixed bag. So we have people who follow us because we live in a small town and they just want to see what we're doing. We have people following us because we funny.
I think there's a lot of people that follow us because they know I'm single.
Oh, yeah, girl.
And if they don't, I am.
Oh, shoot. She gave a shameless plug right here on the podcast. This will be a highlight on Instagram.
Stop.
But then you have people who follow us because, I don't know, they just are curious. And then we have the segment of people who follow us because they are looking for marketing advice. So when we started our Facebook group, the same thing happened. When we asked them to get off the platform of Instagram, travel on over to Facebook, which is a long ask in the world of 8-second attention spans. Get on Facebook, click on our group, join it, and then interact. If you get them from over here on Instagram, where you're not quite sure what lead they are, over to this ask that you're asking that's a big one, in that group, they have went from top of funnel, the widest part of your funnel, to mid to bottom of funnel instantly like that. Right. You have something to work with there. And to me, that step alone is the gold mine in starting a Facebook group.
Absolutely. And especially because obviously you're going to want hot leads. Hot leads is always better than like a warm or a cold. But especially with a Facebook group, you want all your members to be engaging in the group as well. You don't want to be the only person that's posting. Or maybe you do if you just want a platform to talk to everyone. But ideally, you're going to have them all be interacting with each other. So if you get those hot leads that are already
have that commonality.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're going to interact with each other. For our client, at first, maybe she was like maybe the only one posting, but now everyone's posting back and forth. They'll ask questions to the group and other people in the group will answer those questions. She doesn't even have to answer all the questions all the time, which is great because now she can kind of focus. She doesn't have to spend all her energy on the Facebook
maintaining the group.
Yeah.
But I think that wouldn't have happened if she would have just been found solely from keyword search, like someone typing in, she's in the health space, the health and wellness. So if someone typed in like health and wellness, blah, blah, I don't think she would have what she has. But the fact that these people left one platform, plugged on in over here and said, yeah, girl, let me join you. I think that's been major for her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next thing, we kind of alluded to it above, like what type of Facebook groups could you start if you're in the real estate space? And we tried to give some different types based on what your goals would be, because remember, you're going to choose a specific goal. One of the ones we could suggest would be like a home buyer's tips and advice. And this would obviously, that's a very broad group and you might have home buyers enter that group from anywhere in the U.S. So this would be great if you're trying to build up your referral business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you would, it would be very niched. It would be all home buyers. But sometimes when people buy, they've got to sell first. So that would be one. Another one that I really like, and is probably my favorite, is like a neighborhood focused Facebook group.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I feel like those are good because, especially if you want more engagement, because then they know that the people they're engaging with are local. Those are it's part of their community as well. If you do, because when we say that, like we'll do like, I don't know if you've seen like groups named off of like the county you live in or like the town that you live in. Sometimes you'll see like, we live in Jacksonville, like the Jacksonville one those are a little bit too big. We're talking more of like the more niche ones, like neighborhoods, like a Mandarin group, like something that's a little bit
San
small.
Marco.
Yeah.
You'll see like San Marco is a small community in Jacksonville. It'll say like the San Marco Moms Group. So you're ultra niche. Now there's nothing wrong with the big groups either. They definitely have their advantages. It's just going to tie back to the goal of what is your specific goal. Like if you one day want to be a real estate coach or, create a big team or have multiple offices, go ahead and create the big group with the broad keyword search. If you're going to just say, nope, I'm going to be a real estate agent, I have small kids, I'm not going beyond this, go with a more targeted local group. Another one would be a design help Facebook group. And this would help you be seen as a problem solver.
Yeah.
Nina, you like these kind of groups, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I do. I'm actually, I'm in like one or two, but I get suggested so many all the time. And I love them because some of them are funny and then some of them are just informative, but people will take pictures of some funky feature in their house or just some like bare space that they don't know how to decorate. And they'll just ask the masses on the internet, how can I fix this? Or how would you design this? What would you do? And I've seen some like pretty simple stuff and then people just give them these really unique ideas. Or I've seen where they have these really like wonky spaces that you're like, what would you do with that? And the internet comes together and they helps them out. And like also in the comment section, there's going to be those class clowns that's going to like put the joking answers, and those are always fun to laugh at, but that's just fuels the engagement. So those are good ones because they can potentially be funny, and then they're also extremely helpful. So you really kind of hit two people. So,
and then my other option for one, now these do very, very well. And that is local real estate listings. But what I want you to do instead of saying like, okay, we live Duval County is Jacksonville, instead of saying like Duval real estate listings or Duval listings, I want you to add the word coming soon to it because it creates a sense of urgency. People feel like that they get to see before other people get to see. So they're like, oh, I can get on there and get to see the homes before they hit the MLS. I know every state is different on whether you can advertise homes before they hit the MLS. So brush up on your MLS laws. I don't want to get anyone in trouble. But we have one in the county I live in, which is Baker County. And I think it's called like Baker County Homes for Sale Coming Soon or something like that. So the words for sale are in there, the word Baker's in there, and the word coming soon's in there. So they really hit up the keyword rich on theirs.
Yeah, pretty much all they used.
Yeah, exactly. They said we're covering every word they got out there. Right? We are not
no wasted space.
No stone unturned here. So just choose your group name very consciously. Do not be cutesy. I would not recommend your name. I would not recommend some word that's like you and your husband's like favorite word. Just
or even like words that are not like
related.
Not related, or even like above like a 5th or 6th grade reading level.
Yes,
simple words,
simple cells. And then the next thing we're going to suggest is set up parameters in the group. The last thing, these groups are meant as a nurturing tool, not a selling tool. The selling would probably come natural or maybe one more step down in the funnel or just sporadically. But to allow yourself or anyone to get in that group and just spam, like I've joined all these Jacksonville groups just for various reasons. And some of them I immediately leave when all it is just sales flyer. Like, I don't want to act like I'm watching commercials here.
Well, I get enough advertisements.
Yeah. You're building community. So set the parameters. Now, I'm not saying don't let people never advertise because a lot of people join groups to get to advertise. So have that special day. On Wednesdays, we promote everyone in this industry. On Mondays, we promote, or you just do one day, everyone can self-promote.
Yeah.
But the key is to have boundaries. And then the second key to that is to stick to them no matter who it is and be willing to either remove people from the group or suspend their access for a period of time. I know that sounds harsh.
Right. But it's good to have expectations. It's good to have boundaries. I know.
And most successful people like structure.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And there's reasons why you're going to come up with the rules and parameters that you are. So if you find a reason for it, it's probably because it bothers other people too. So like you got to you got to support your people.
Yes. And then my other one, so this one drives me bananas. Okay. So as a group leader, owner, starter of the group, you may feel this need to like be all up in the action. And yes, in the beginning, you are going to have to be all up in the action and create most of the action.
You might have to fan the flames a little bit, especially to get people interacting.
But once there's organic interaction amongst your group, stay out of it. If it doesn't require you. So I've been part of this women's group. It's like a marketing women's group. And no matter what the post is, the owner of the group always interjects. So someone will make a post. Let's say Lily makes a post and Michelle comments, and then Lily comments back and then Michelle. And they're having like this great rapport. They're feeding off each other. Like just truth bombs are being dropped. Success is being given. Women supporting women. And then here she comes. Here she comes. The owner of the group walks right up in there and just blows it up. And what I think drives me bananas about it, I'm going off on a rant. I feel the tangent
Wait,
coming.
but I'm actually like, I want to know. So
okay. What she does is, so you think, okay, that's fine. She's the owner of the group. She can chime in. But she says, if you will DM me, I will tell you. So why wouldn't you let the group know if you have the secret sauce or the answer or the winning recipe to whatever they're discussing in this marketing group? She'll say like, if someone says, how do you handle onboarding? She'll be like, oh, I find this in my company, I deal with this quite frequently. I've been doing this for 15 years. She gives all her credentials and then says, DM me. I definitely can send you a guide, which to me screams, DM me. I'm about to try to sell you something. There is a place to sell, but she does it in every single. I found myself getting on a soapbox. I just better stop. I feel like I'm being triggered by talking about this group.
Right. No, but I mean, I get what you're saying. Because I mean, people are getting irritated with all of the constant selling and the constant like advertisements. I remember a few months ago, we were talking, I don't know if you saw that like Snoop Dogg advertisement where he was promoting like a grill thing or a fire pit thing. And the ad said, it was just a picture of him saying, I quit smoking because it was a smokeless fire pit or something. So they were trying to get you with that like shock value of like Snoop Dogg quit smoking, but it was just a fire pit, smokeless fire pit thing. And at first when it happened, people were saying like, oh my gosh, everyone's talking about this. We love it. Like this is a great marketing thing. But then now that a few months have passed, I was just listening to somebody else's opinion. It was like a market, I don't know. Another podcast, I think. And they were saying how like it was kind of a bust because it didn't actually, people felt tricked and they didn't like it. So people are like, even though they thought that was funny, they're like, well, I don't want to be tricked into buying a fire pit thing. So even though it got their attention, it didn't work. So
yeah, I just think that this lady would be best to let some great, because people are going to remember the owner of the group per se. Like if me and Nina, let's say we met in a Facebook group and we had some great connection and great conversation, what I'm then going to do is leave that group and go tell Sally over here, like, oh my gosh, I met this really cool other marketer in this group. You should join the group. And I'm going to encourage Sally to join the group, and it's going to expand the group. Does the owner have the right to sell? Yes, absolutely. It's her group. She puts in the work. She's the moderator. It's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's just the endless selling in everyone's comments. But anyway, we better move on before I hit this soapbox hard.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
you feel it coming out of me, don't you?
Yeah, I'm from the South, but bless her heart, but it's given desperate. It's given too much. It's given extra. It's given pick me. Just don't do that. Let them, if people are having a good convo without you, you do not need to helicopter mom your way in there.
It's funny because Nina and I reviewed these podcasts before we get on here. We don't like script them. They're not scripted, obviously, but we review them. And when we reviewed this earlier, it didn't really catch me. But when I started to like dive into the story, I'm like, man, we spent 5 minutes on telling you to not get up into other people's business.
We're very passionate about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next thing is going to be quality content should be the fundamental building block. In the beginning, you are going to have to provide the content. Now, the thing about our client is she was very blessed. She brought a warm audience. She moved them off one platform. And that's why we said in the beginning, if you can move them from somewhere else into there, you're not going to have to work as hard. But if you're just going to create a group, never cross-promote it anywhere, never advertise, you're just going to give it a great keyword-rich name. In the beginning, you're going to have to provide all the content until the audience is built, until they warm up. So if you're wanting an easier path, get them from somewhere else.
Yeah. And even though the Facebook group for our client has gotten super successful, she did say in the beginning, like, oh my gosh, it's just so much work to like get it all started. But once the ball gets rolling, it's good. So especially since you're going to be needing to provide most of the content yourself in the beginning, might be a good idea before you even open the group to the public to already have like a content calendar in place so that way you're not quite so overwhelmed once you do roll out the Facebook group, because you're going to, and especially in those first few weeks when you're wanting to kind of get it started, you're going to want to make sure you're engaging with the people and, you know, fanning the flames a little bit in the beginning.
Correct. And so also you're going to need to post a lot in the beginning. I don't want to like sugarcoat for this. This is not the easiest marketing tool in the world, creating a Facebook group. I do not want to lie to you. This is for someone who's like, I'm ready. I've been doing Instagram. I've been doing Facebook. Let's go next level. This is not probably barrier to entry, point one, first day marketing stuff. So so what I'm going to tell you is you have to post frequently, because what's going to happen is your group's going to pop up in a search. Someone's going to click on it and it's going to say last post 3 weeks ago. And in their mind, that's going to say you're not home. You're not available. That is just a psychological thing. This. That's why for a long time, Instagram prioritized having a story up at all times, an Insta story, because it told the consumer that you're home. Now we've been overconsumed by Insta stories. So the algorithm has changed a little bit. You actually get rewarded if you go 24 hours without a story and then story again. So on, off, on, off. So in the Facebook group, you're going to need to say, hey, I'm home. And the only way you can say that is by posting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's just my biggest takeaway. So we're going to finish this podcast up, and we told you lots of parts of our client's story, but we are going to take you through like how this happened without giving too much personal details about her business. So
because hopefully we're going to have her as a guest on the podcast. She's obviously very busy running her
company
right now. So, but hopefully if she can get some time for us, we want to have her on the podcast too. So we'll let her tell you a little bit when that day comes.
Yeah, what she wants to tell about her actual business. So we're going to keep it to the Facebook group and maybe a little bit like how that got started. So she actually approached us about hiring Social Southern Creative to work on the launch of her business and her products. So she has digital, she has service-based, and then a paid Facebook group. And so she contacted us and said, hey, I've been living in this space. I love health and wellness. I'm getting some certifications. I'm ready to launch. Would you help with the launch? And at first we were like, ooh, no, we out. No, we're not the right fit for you. We have always turned on clients that we did not feel we were the right fit for. We want to give you the best of the best of the best. And at the point she had contacted us, we were kind of redoing our website. We were revamping classes. We were just had a lot going on that we didn't know we could give our all.
Yeah. And I just feel like we like to be self-aware about like what we can do and what we can't do. And like, we'd rather really show up for what we can do than try and spread ourselves too thin, kind of. So that was our hesitation.
She circled back around. Thank the Lord in heaven she did. I'm so grateful she did circle back around. She asked again. The second time we were like, okay, let's give this a whirl. Let's do it. So basically, she has been very active on Instagram for many years. She has another job, which like I said, I don't want to disclose too much personal information. She shared a lot about that job and a little bit about this new business just in her organic everyday posting. So she's in the health and wellness business. So just naturally over the last 5-6 years, she would show what she cooked for dinner. There was never a ulterior motive.
She just likes cooking. I mean, she's passionate about it. Obviously, she went into business for it. So she was kind of sharing her life and her passion. So
so she already had a semi-warmed up audience when we got her, just from her organically showing herself.
But also, too, a lot of that audience is going to be like people she actually knows, you know?
Yeah.
That was part of it too.
Yeah. So just people that know her.
At least then in the beginning. Now she's gotten some more traction of people. She's not quite as
her email list grew substantially.
Yeah.
So we came in and we're like, what's the goals here? We sat down, we discussed those with her. And so she had kind of thought of the Facebook group. We had thought of the Facebook group. But then she was like, I just don't know. That's something much to my plate. But it was the easiest place to host what she was trying to do, which essentially is like a challenge in a sense is what she's hosting, like a health and wellness, but it's not, I thought it was going to be more of that, but really I actually love more what it is. It's so much more education. Like each week there is a task. So that's the challenge part, but she has just submerged herself in educating us on these different parts of health and wellness. And so we thought, well, let's do Facebook because it's free, why not? And then let's charge them to get in there. So we started priming her audience a few weeks prior. She released a guide. She sold some guides. We created her a full landing page for that. We set up all her payments for that. That went extremely well. I'm like, okay, you've got something to work with here. You don't have a cold audience. So we tested almost through selling her guide.
Yeah.
And which was 3 times the cost of this Facebook group. So the fact that we had people paying that much, I knew we were going to be okay on the Facebook side.
Especially because the guide was so solid and it did so well. People were so excited about it.
Yeah.
And it sold quickly too.
Yes,
like
very
it's not like
quickly.
you had to wait for traction.
Yeah.
It was like once it went online, it was going.
She messaged us and said, it's done. I said, let's launch next week. Why wait? There's no time like the present. So we launch her guide. That does well. And then so we come back around and she's like, okay, I want to do this new challenge thing at the beginning of the year. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we created her another landing page, hooked up her payments, made all of that go live. She talked about it on Insta stories. We gave her some story ideas. She created her own. We created some graphics for her. She put it out there. We did some email marketing with her. We gave her, suggestions, graphics, sent all that out. Bam, 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 bam. I mean, it lit up. She was able to secure a lot of people joining her group.
Yeah. And just to kind of interject a little bit and interrupt Stephanie, but obviously we think and we know that she had an amazing product, but it was kind of priced at a point where like her ideal client might be hesitant to buy it. So that's why we did that. Like it was very strategized the way that we presented it to her audience. Obviously we knew it was a good product and it was going to do well because it was good, but then it's also kind of getting her going. So I'm only saying that because I don't want you to think that like, oh, well, of course her Facebook went great because she had a great product and everything was good. We primed it to be that way a little bit too. It wasn't just all, she had a good product, so I don't want to say that like we did it and she couldn't have done it without us. But I'm just kind of saying that there was some strategy going into it. So definitely think about like for us, we timed it around the new year to make sure that like we weren't trying to sell people a guide 5 days after the new year when people have already kind of started to get tired of their New Year's resolutions.
Actually, we went early on it, and
exactly.
we were nervous going a little early before the new year on a health and wellness thing, but it all worked out.
Yeah.
And so she put in the work of like just showing up on stories and. Anyway, so she makes the ask, which is, hey, pay me this money, join this Facebook group. Here's what I'll give you. And so we put it out there, put everything out into the world that we created, and bam, it just did so well. So she started the Facebook group, and now we are obviously behind the scenes strategizing. What do we do with these people at the end? Because not from just a selling point, take that out of it. Like, of course, the name of the game when you're in business is to sell and make money, but she's built relationships with these people too. So
absolutely.
From a person with a heart in a business that cares about relationships, we want to help her keep those going. So we are strategizing now. Like, do we just leave them in that same group, change the name? Like, where do we move them to? And so hopefully she'll come in February. We're going to invite her to be a guest and she can share more about what step 2 is look like with those people. But her group is popping. She set parameters. She started conversation. And like Nina said, now she doesn't even have to like be all up in the business. Like people will conversate in the group without her, which has made them build a community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's been so fun to watch.
I know. I wonder if they ever like ran into each other at the grocery store and they're like, I know you from the Facebook group.
Yeah, like I seen that delicious meal you made last night. Right, like that thing looked good, So it has been so fun to take someone from an idea through a funnel, channel them through Instagram and some email, and then land them in a paid Facebook group that has been successful. And so our encouragement, I guess we'll end kind of with this today, is if this has been something you want to do, it does have to have a strategy behind it. It is going to require some consistency. It's not a get rich, get big, get known quick scheme, but it is a long game that will nurture you for a long time if you do it right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I love a Facebook group, y'all. I am a part of so many. Bread making, check. Gardening, check. Marketing, check. Mom, check. I mean, like,
I wouldn't be surprised if I'm in more Facebook groups than I have Facebook friends.
I'm absolutely in more Facebook groups. I have like 9 Facebook friends, and I'm part of probably 90 Facebook groups, Canva groups. I mean, I could go on.
I know she's constantly like sending me Facebook groups to join all the time, and then she'll reference them, and I'm just like, you've sent me 20.
Yeah, I'm in Canva groups, real estate groups.
Anything that crosses her mind, she's in.
If I like think,
if she drives through that county, she'll join the mom group.
Yeah,
Turks on her route to school.
Turks and Caicos group. What to do with your kids over the holiday group. What to do with your kids on summertime group.
Hey, I mean, that it works,
Yeah, I mean, y'all, I love a Facebook group. So I'm trying to think. Should I get on here and name the other 9,000 groups? I'm just kidding, y'all. I would never do that to y'all, but I truly do love. I'm part of a lot of barrel racing groups too, because my stepdaughter barrel races. But anyway, so just thought I would share that with y'all today. And I hope it was helpful. If you start a Facebook group, let us know, because we'd love to join.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to be some of your OGs in the group. So, All right, Nina. Oh, let's end with this because I feel like we would not be Floridians if we did not talk about how cold it is outside.
Oh my goodness. My dog is living in a sweater. Like he's cold. He doesn't even want to go outside too much. Like it's freezing out there. It's cold for me. I'm struggling. I'm struggling with it hard.
Yeah, it's been, I do not like that Henry was sick at all. Like, never think what I'm about to say. But if it had to fall on some days that we didn't have to leave the house, I am glad it was these cold days. So,
yeah, man, you probably had ice on your car.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, friends, we will see y'all next week. Thank y'all for tuning in. Remember, you can always slide into our DMs. Oh, yes. Shameless plug. Go check out our new website, socialsoutherncreative.com, built by your girl.
New year, new website, new us.
New us. Hello. Holla at us. Definitely let us know what you think. And stay tuned for our next episode.